Hi, my name is Ethan Allen. I'm a producer working with KiKi Holli, and we've done this song that we really had a great time making. It's got a bit of a trip hop feel, a bit of a cinematic, dark indie pop sort of vibe, but we thought we would play a little bit of it for you and then break down as we go some of how we went about doing it. So first of all, I'll play you just a bit of the drum beat, which was the first thing we started with. I was really thinking of a kind of lo-fi hip-hop beat. I believe this was a drum program called XO. Just a kick, dark kick, and a clap. Our next thing here was a different kind of sort of offbeat loop. I think this was Superior Drummer, and then each of these were put through some outboard compressors. And then we had this guy, which is a drum machine, which is an old Rhythm Ace drum machine from the 70s. Probably cut up, wanting a sort of off time, sort of slightly off kilter behind the beat feel, so it's not all just a machine. When you put these three together, you start to get, I'll turn them on one at a time so you can kind of hear it, but we got, well, first we got this guy. And that's the heart of the drum picture. There's other little things in there. When we get to this other section at 909, kick drum comes in, which if you're hearing it on its own is kind of like this. But then all of them, you get and then we have a bit of a fill here. That's from Beat Anthology Drum Machine. And that's kind of the whole deal. There's other little tambourines and such, but once you, and then later on we do have some bigger things that come in, so. This is for a breakdown.
What is that?
It is a thing from Addicted Drums, which is sort of a drum machine of real drums, but distorted through Devil Lock, I think. This thing, don't remember what that is, but Superior Drummer. Sort of a collage of different pieces, just kind of, trying to get something with some character, and all of it with its own loping pocket. And then there's a few little samples of bits.
I mean, so what's your opinion, like, of course I love live drums and I would love live drums on a track, but what's your opinion about, like, something, especially like this track, like building it from the ground up, like that kind of bass within all the,
the trip hop programming is the only appropriate thing in this song. I think to do it with real drums, I mean, you could do an alternate version that's maybe more of a jazz combo thing, but it would not have at all the same psychological mood. This is got that noir trip hop thing, and I don't know how you could do the same thing only live. It would, or with just real drums. It would, you would do something interesting, but it wouldn't conjure the same sorcery. Yeah.
But didn't you produced Tricky, right? Angels with Dirty.
Oh
Dirty
yeah,
Faces.
and that was entirely programmed or made up pieces of real recorded drums, but there was never much, except for vocal performances. There's hardly any continuous live performance. There are pieces and bits, but it was much more of a collage. And I learned a lot from that record. I never thought when he was doing that, I was bewildered and didn't see how it was all going to come together, but he was a mad genius at how it did. And the discovery in that was pretty genius. But here, I'll show you. So those are kind of all the drums, fairly minimal, but each one, it plays a character role. None of it is like, this is the job of a drum kit. So this, sort of the same thing with the bass. There's no one bass. Each kind of thing is doing something different. Sort of a staccato string section mixed with a synth bass. We have more of a synth bass that comes in just a bit later. Mini Moog. Bass guitar with it. It's distorted.
You played that though on the bass guitar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then there's some other stuff here later on. Both strings and a dirgy synth bass drum. But guitar, we sort of wrote it on guitar when it was just us sitting here.
Yeah.
But like,
And then we just started humming the melody, and then we came up with like, we were both going something, and we were like, something about you. We were like,
Yeah.
that's it.
and then it felt mysterious from the beginning. So what is that something? It's like,
Yeah.
then put some chant guitars in there, kind of Motown style, and tremolo.
And you played that on your Gretsch, right?
Sure.
You don't remember?
Yeah, probably. That or the Casino. Sounds like that kind of old school vibe. And that was sort of that main.
But I remember, I mean, we were putting this together, we were just talking about this like right after David Lynch passed away, but he was a huge figure in Los Angeles, and to me too, and
Oh, yeah.
very influential, and
Absolutely.
I mean, just such a incredible creative character, I think, and
Yeah.
force in this world. And it was so, very sad his passing. But I felt influenced as we were writing it by, everything that visually that I had seen of what he'd done. And I've been watching a lot of black and white movies.
Yeah.
So
There's some noir in
there's
this.
some noir in it, for sure. And,
Some strings, got some cellos, some violas, some violins. Good. Nice little arrangement
but
there.
and it's so amazing how the strings these days are just so, the programming for them are just so beautiful. And you're doing everything on the MIDI, right?
Yeah.
With the strings.
Just sort of separating it into a simple 3-string part. There's cellos, violas, violin. I think all of this is from the Audio Bro strings program, which are really good. And then, you've got some dirty trip hop drums, you've got some dirgy bass, some old school Motown guitars, and then some strings. And then there's other sort of space bits that are going on in there. There's
What are the space bits?
we've got the Psych Rhodes.
Oh, that's so cool.
And there's also the space accordion.
So that's like a Rhodes piano, but putting like a...
And this isn't accordion, it's actually a squeeze box put through phaser and distorted. And then, let's see, piano. Can't remember if this is real or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love using the real upright.
But that's the real upright, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just the keyboard.
Yeah, you can hear
Yeah.
the headphones going back there. There's probably a high part too. Let's see. Yeah, that's all real stuff. I love when programming to use a hybrid of organic and
I think it's
and
very
not at all.
effective. You know, it pulls, even if you're not hearing those parts, I think it just like pulls, there's something about your ear as a human that pulls you into that because you're, you know, the real.
Also, there's in something real recorded, even in a piano or guitar, there's complexity in that
Yeah.
that you just can't create in the same way. That sound has some depth to it or some travel. Did a mellotron, so there's some mellotron strings in there. We've got some other little string bits. Yeah, some thriller movie nocturnal
Exactly.
stuff. But then, yeah, we start getting into the vocal stuff. So what's interesting about this sort of collage approach is that there's hardly ever any one instrument that sort of defines all of it. Kind of needs some combination of all of it for you to sort of hear the song. Here's some guitars and some piano so that we can start to hear the vocals against it. So let's see, we got some verse vocals here, I think.
I don't feel like falling in love.
So yeah, there's a call and response. That's the call. And then the id mind vocals answering back. It's like, I knew it. Here we go.
There's something about you.
And there's a lot of harmonies in
I
that.
should've listened to heaven above, but there's something.
Actually, on that one, there's only one harmony. Without the harmony, it's like, let's see, let's not group it.
I thought there were 3 in there.
Well, it's just a main vocal and a double for the parts, but they're all just kind of.
I don't feel like falling in love.
Oh, here we go.
I don't feel like falling in love. There's something about you. I should've listened to heaven above, but there's something about you.
So the call has no harmony.
I won't be here tomorrow.
And then, so in the beginning, no harmony.
I don't feel like falling
In this part,
in love. There's something
a main
about you.
and a harmony. So we go.
Love, there's something about you.
No, there was only 2 there. I thought there were
I
3.
should've listened to heaven above, but there's something about you.
And then
I won't be here tomorrow.
one harmony there. So we've got kind of the second verse here does a bit of a different thing for the verse. That's something we do a lot. We like changing up the story on the verse to be a different thing a lot of the time. So
Much too late now for sorrow, but
bit
begging.
distorted and fried there using a program called Camel Strip, kind of a guitar pedal emulation. And now, in between all those, there's these little ums and isms We added a lot of that to sort of paint some bluesiness and gospel in there, and some just
I love that
strange.
distortion.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that.
I think it's also interesting for contrast when you have moments of distortion and not.
Yes, I think that's
'Cause
very cool.
Then you can really hear and see the colors
You
change.
earn your distortion.
Yeah, I have in life. But
I won't be here tomorrow.
and then some sort of gilded page ornamentation.
Yeah, and I remember doing that part and being like, "What the fuck are we doing?" But it ended up being great.
I'm like, trust me,
I know,
I have no idea, but,
and then,
but trust me.
And then
Yeah.
we're
That's kind of
doing
what's
all the
fun about
harmonies
it.
with harmonies of all these. The stack of
Yeah.
is always super challenging. I'm like sweat when I do harmonies with you
But
because
you're great at it. I
You're
mean,
amazing.
Your voice has such
figuring
texture,
it
and
out.
it's fun to figure out, play around with, like, well, what can we do with this? You get towards the end, and it starts to kind of all stack up into
There's
pieces,
something about you.
and then there's sort of a give and take.
Should've listened to heaven above, but
There's some
something
things about the beat that continue, which gives the hypnosis of it all. But then when all these things are coming in and out, there's sort of beauty and there's sort of consternation. So it's like,
I feel like everybody's gonna be sampling the guitar.
I feel like we sampled ourselves. But
I don't feel like falling in love. There's something about
there's something very immediate and sensual about this song, but it also kind of feels like
but there's
a
something
stained postcard or
about you.
something you happened across. We added some of this stuff here, like that 909 and stuff, the guitars, just so that even though this is got this mysterioso sort of beat, that it doesn't lose energy. And then you kind of have something to release from, contrast.
Much too late now for sorrow, but begging or borrow. Don't play a game of fortune, but gamble or
Some roads.
poison.
Back to our figure. And then the sort of high noon.
Yeah, we were doing that, and you were,
Gunslinger was.
and I was also like, "What?" And then you were like, "Just Bowie." It's like a Bowie thing,
Yeah.
like.
Sort of
Which
like,
is really good
it's not a
reference.
verse chorus, it's sort of like
Just sort of this like,
a non sequitur challenge.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's so amazing how he just got away with so much of that kind of stuff and just made it popular. Like,
And I love stuff like Bauhaus. Sometimes you just have to be the count. Like, I'm just gonna give you some confounding darkness for a moment. Make you question everything. But yeah. But then
but that's all you on the guitar.
yeah, there's
That thing. Yep. Exactly.
a dental drill.
I love that part too. That vocal.
Yeah, this is sort of the coup de grace. Piano comes in, distorted. strange band. Yeah. But
Shouldn't listen to
You're available for weddings?
there's something
yeah,
And Planet Seven.
I love this bluesy vocal
there's
numbers.
something
I love that.
But yeah, that was some of the thinking. This one was a lot of fun to make because
It was a lot of fun.
Some songs start off more as a traditional song, a tune that you have on a piano or a guitar, and here's the melody and here's the story. And this has those things, but sort of comes in through the back door and builds its own little haunted house around a mood first, and a sort of painting, and then the story gets told out of that. But I love how your voice is on this. It was a lot of interesting texture, and
Yeah, I feel like the melody really just happened a lot. It happened very naturally. Like it was just really,
Yeah.
really just kind of. I think that's what's so interesting about writing. I know a lot of people talk about that, but I do feel like songs kind of already exist somewhere, and you're just kind of pulling them,
when you're lucky, yeah.
into when you're lucky, exactly. When you're pulling them into
Some of them are a much bigger pain
from
in the
the
ass.
ethers.
But this one was great.
Yeah, it was a joy. Yeah, some of them aren't like that. So compared to like when you were coming up, like working. I know you worked at Willie Nelson's studio, and then you started, and then you were at Daniel Lanois' studio, Kingsway, for I think like 6 or 7 years, and then you were the lead
6
engineer
years.
there, right?
Well, I was the house engineer. The job is
You
start off as the assistant. You're something of a concierge for everybody who comes in, all kinds of artists, engineers, producers, and then you facilitate what they need. It was in an old house in the French Quarter in New Orleans.
Amazing.
Not your standard studio, not everything separated off, a lot of ambience, and control room in a weird place, but all of that adds to a very direct, communicative, talking way of doing things, musically and literally, so that you're really always sort of layered on top of each other in the way you first speak, and then how each movement you make is apparent to everyone. Nothing's hidden. You're not in your own world, separated away, which is often the way things are recorded now. But there wasn't really, like, when you're making these sounds, like when you were working with Tricky and you're making sounds like this, were you at that time there was Pro Tools? Well, Tricky came in with his own setup, and at the time the way that was done with Pro Tools, at least in my world, wasn't around at this point. There was an old Atari computer, 1040 ST, with version of Notator, sort of precursor to Logic, and you'd stripe time code on a tape, and then you would attach this limited but powerful computer system to it that drove via MIDI a sampler, so you would sample things into that, or you would have little pieces of audio from the band that was already there that you were recording and making this sort of collage of drum pieces or slowed down little moments of synthesizers or whatever it was, and then quickly running in to do a very compressed vocal, and then revisit it all again and take it all apart and put it back together in another way. And that was definitely the precursor to this way of working. There's some real advantages to that way of working. Now you can do that all the time, and so much of record making can often be just one or two people at a time. He did invite a lot of random elements, different people, from French band musicians to a drummer who was visiting Gloria, to all kinds of people. There's another programmer there for a while, and he had a pocket synthesizer called a QY20, which was very simple, almost sounded like game noises sometimes, but all of it, and the patience to allow for unintended accidents to happen, or don't completely build that room, leave it unfinished for a minute, and let's go over here and think about this. That's something I do all the time.
But I think like there's probably this, like, why I'm talking about it is because the foundation of how you work now, I think probably was very greatly influenced in a lot of ways by working that way.
Well, yeah, everything. I mean, I learned organic only first, and so much of what I learned about working in the Lanois and Kingsway camp is you become, by necessity, a very able live recording engineer. And all kinds of scenarios, whether it's one person sitting on a couch with an acoustic guitar and a vocal, and somebody else is just creeping in on a piano over here that's distorted with the coals in the back of it, or a very minimally mic'd drum kit over here and a big one over here, and then not everything is a Machiavellian plan for this is how we will do it. Some of it is, but then it also leaves a lot of room for that to completely change, or always to serve first and foremost the emotion of the song and what is the person, the artist who's writing it, trying to get across. And there might be a few ways to do that. There's more than one lens to look through. So we do that all the time. You know, it's like sometimes it's as simple as a piano and a voice, and that's what carries the whole thing. Sometimes you do a whole other concerned mess of things to make you feel that, or swell, or sometimes it's distraction. It's like, look over here while really the emotion is here, and you have to kind of create all those things, and that can be done with one person and a guitar, or sometimes it can be done with a much more complex arrangement. But you know, this one is both those things. It's like simple and complex. I mean, at this point, bluesy vocals. There's some trip-hoppy drums. But ultimately, all of that emotion serves. There's something about you. It's bothering me. I can't get you off my mind, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the whole point.
Right. I mean, just
and whatever it is that you are, I'm not entirely sure that that's a good thing.
In fact, most likely isn't. It's probably not a good thing.
But anyway, that's the track.
Might be fun.
Thanks for coming along with us for a little story about how we made it. And
I have to take a shout out to Mark Stewart, because he's my husband's good friend. He was lead singer of the pop group.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. And he found Tricky on the street in Bristol.
Oh, nice.
And so he's the one who started his career. So I have to give a shout out to Mark.
Amazing. And definitely shout out to Tricky, who's
and shout out to Tricky, of course.
One of the more amazing people that I had the good luck to work with. Yeah. Definitely shaped the path that I've gone down, and you know, the producer I've become. He was definitely a voice that made me stop and listen. So
absolutely. Well, and you have been nominated for 2 Grammys.
Yes.
You've done over 500 records.
Okay. Anyway, thank you.
I'm bragging.
Glad you came. We'll talk again. We'll do this again soon. Let's do this again soon.
Soon.